Welcome everybody to another episode of Casual Talk. I'm Pete.
I'm Tim.
I'm Seth.
And I'm Regan.
And today,
What was it like superhero voice? And I'm Regan.
today we're going to be talking about the grand narrative that we just went to. Well, it's been a minute. It's been like 3 weeks.
Has it?
I think
No, it
so.
hasn't been that long.
Yeah, actually, it's about
Yeah.
right.
Oh my gosh. Well, time flies, I guess.
Dude, there's some people who like made videos like the day after.
Yeah, but we're
We're
on our
we're
own
better.
schedule.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Yeah.
we had to fly.
Listen, we're known for our inconsistency, late uploads.
Nothing wrong with that.
If you guys look right now, you click on our channel name, it will say upload every Monday. That is a lie.
Only reason we're late is because someone put upload every Monday. See, we could have just uploaded whenever and it would have been fine, but you said a standard.
We could change
And now
that.
we're late.
We
to
can change that. No. I'm going to cross out Monday and this says sometime in the week.
Site number construction.
New videos. That's it.
Sometime.
Yeah, but how's everyone doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just had a bunch of stuff to do this morning, but now we're here. Get to talk with you guys, so pretty
know.
excited.
We forgot to introduce Carmine.
Oh, yes. Our mascot who doesn't want to be here.
He literally doesn't.
He's a big sleepy right now. Aw.
Do the same. Introduce yourself.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm not too bad. Yesterday got back into Age of Sigmar. I haven't played that in a while. I know you haven't either. And
Yeah.
You haven't either, and you've never played Age of Sigmar.
Oh, Age of Sigmar.
It's
Okay.
fantasy 40K.
Yeah. Excuse you. It's
In my
40K
case-
is fantasy or is futuristic Age of Sigmar.
Listen, this is the mic. Don't use it as a fucking wand. Talk into it.
I'll do what I fucking
Because the audio is going to be like... Like, why is that moving
All
around so
right.
much?
I'm getting back. Well, fuck you. I got
Surround sound. Okay.
Anyway, played a game of Age of Sigmar. Probably gonna get back into that. Bought some new models to start. Another army. But
What army?
Yeah, it's a sickness at this point, but yeah.
lizardmen, and I'll die on that hill.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not seraphim. They're lizardmen. But other than that, yeah, just trying to figure out what the next big thing we're gonna do. But there's no implication if we are planning anything or doing anything. Just
Yeah. No, I mean, we're all back. We're chilling, like the kind of like, what is it? The high of like going on a big trip and just going hard for 3 days in a row, X days in a row.
I think it was more than the 3 days because weren't
It was
all
4
of us
day, right?
paying-
It was 4 day.
It was. I guess we kind of started on Thursday. Like you can get
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Thursday was like a starting day. To
Yeah,
like
there was like
get
briefing. We have to
pre-reg.
get settled.
I'm just thinking about like at least I know a couple of us were painting like a night or two before we all left too. So you know,
Such is the way. It's
Yeah,
tradition. Yeah.
2 days for me. Like I think I got my Bloodthirster done, and I'm just like, all right, we're packing this. Now I got to do some puzzling. How did you guys prepare for the trip?
All right.
Let's go with Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan.
So we got this. This is the greatest thing ever. It's an A case. So basically, it's our like fancy magnetic case that we use. So we just zip this bad boy out, flip the models, and inside we have like easily 2K points just rolling in there.
Okay, maybe for your army.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it
I
depends.
played Space Marines, but like, man, I fit like 7 tanks in here. I got like Terminators, a whole bunch of heavy intercessors, all that junk. And if I wanted to, I even had extra room where I could like hang these models. I'm going to see if I can do it from this angle. Hang the models just straight upside down, and even if I shake it, it all stays.
just falls apart, breaks and everything.
Yeah. And you know what? It has a fancy compartment.
And then like the person listening, they just hear.
Holds a book. Because I use this codex so much because it has 1 page of rules on it.
Yeah, I mean, very useful. Did you get a kickback for this, Seth? Because you
No,
convinced everybody
no,
to buy it.
Yeah, like so. I originally bought an A case because they're great, and they come out of like some fallen USSR country. But it gets. I mean, it does. I don't know where. It's like Georgia, one of the stands. Like, it got here quick though. I ordered it when I ordered mine. I ordered the biggest one, which I recommend, but I don't think it will fit on carry-on for a plane.
Yeah, so that's the pro thing about the messenger bag and the one that you have, Pete.
Yeah, there's the backpack, there's the messenger bag, and then there's the one that Seth had, which is like the too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are explicitly small enough to fit under the airplane seat, which lets you take it for travel because nobody wants to check their Warhammer models because you've seen those guys. They just like play football with your bags. And
Oh, yeah.
I will say I'll probably buy 2 of those because those are like a good size. I liked my backpack one. Either way, so I bought the big one originally. I convinced Tim to buy one, which I believe he bought a bigger one than that. And
No,
then
I got the messenger bag.
the messenger one's
and
fire.
It was
it's pretty good.
fantastic.
I think what you could do is you guys can get the combo, and then like you can just split
Switch
again.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't know if they're still doing it. Like all in all, the backpack one, it's not bad. It got all my stuff that I didn't want to put in my big bag, but at the same time, I don't think I would buy it for like an army for AOS or 40K.
See, if you had what I had, which was the backpack and the messenger bag,
I think it would have been perfect.
and you have like a reasonable army, unlike demons, you could easily fit 2K,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I mean, like, and that's another thing is like for me, like he brought Space Marines. I brought Sisters, and I brought like 3,500 points of Sisters, and it was like 6 tanks, 2 small knights. I had 40 base infantry, 10 retributors. I had I think like 80 to 90 models with me. And so, like, it was just not ideal for traveling in a plane, which I won't do again with Sisters.
Because you convinced me to bring extra stuff, and I'm like, okay, we have extra space.
It said that in the pamphlet. It said like you can bring 3K points.
Yeah.
And it wasn't clear on the intentions, but the intentions were you should be able to swap out your points, right?
Yeah.
So you have like a sideboard. You have a 1K sideboard.
It was that, and then also I did find out later that the other intent with 3,000 points is that if you do get paired in a double,
You have enough
and
points.
you're the single, you have enough points where they can each play 1,500, and you can play your full 3,000 points.
I would not want to do that.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
going to
lot.
be a very long game. You're going to have to like move a lot of models. And honestly, I brought the extra 1K of points, but like they were like my not great models. Like I just brought a bunch of infantry that I painted and like didn't really want to play with them.
Yeah, 'cause that
so
was-
for the other days, I literally left my extra K at the hotel.
Yeah, because like, listen, you guys were playing real army. I moved like 4 or 5 big models, and I was having a great time.
It's a real army. I think out of everyone at this table, you're the most competitive army there.
No.
No.
Not if have you seen Regan's
I don't
list?
count. I don't count Regan's list because every Space Marine player at the event had Regan's list. And
No, they do not.
I'm like seriously. The amount of people where I would go to a table and set my stuff down and they'd be like, "Oh, thank God you're not Space Marines." And I'm like, "Oh, why?" And they're like, "Because everyone brings like 3 tanks and walkers," and I just give.
No, I don't
blown
even
off the
think
board.
that was the case. There was just so many Imperium player that like I don't care if it's a foot soldier, melee Space Marine, a shooting Space Marine. It's like on your 3rd game, you're just like it's Space Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't,
That's why people are like no one should be happy. It's like you're bringing like 5 demons. Amazing.
I'm just telling you, every Space Marine list that I would walk by and see, there were only 2 I saw that did not have 3 tanks and 2 walkers, and that was one of the guys in our group who brought Space Wolves. It was all like melee troop Space Wolves, and then there was another guy in our group who brought like 40 Crusaders, which was stupid. But he brought like 40 Crusader troops and ran them as like Iron Fist or something. So like it was like no shooting at all.
So I think that's kind of a takeaway because all of my games were unfortunately just total stomps. Like I tabled literally every opponent on turn 2 or 3. And that's not like a humble brag. That was just like, I brought oops all tanks. And so people just generally don't bring anti-tank at casual events. And so I just tabled.
Well, it's not even that. Also, the table, some of the tables were the
okay,
coverage.
that's a
is
huge
not
one.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the terrain density is incredibly low at this event. Some boards were genuinely good, but if you had a shooting list, you probably had a huge advantage.
To the terrain points, there are like the main terrain tables, and then there are like the extra terrain tables.
Yeah.
Where the main one is like it's really beautiful terrain. It's like super dense, and the other ones are just like here we crack like 3 box and we dry brush.
Yeah.
Like, but they're so done well, but like it just pales in comparison, right?
There's definitely like a gap, like, and it felt like the cards I had and you had There were no tables where it was like the cool table.
Actually, no, I got like
Okay,
two. Cool
I
tables.
do not. I got like the sparse terrain stuff, which again didn't matter for me because I have 900 models on the table, so it's like shoot me away, go for it. But
Okay, we veered. Do we want to go back to traveling?
But yeah, traveling. Let's touch that up. Wait, Tim. We're going to Tim now. What did you bring?
So I brought 2,000 points of Votan, which I was able to fit everything in the messenger bag because there is a benefit to being so squat.
Limited range. You have 2 tanks and a bunch of.
Hey, look, I had 1 tank and it hits hard. So
True. Like what, D6 plus 6 or something?
Actually,
D6
yes,
plus
literally.
6. Yeah, literally.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, what? Can you repeat that one more time?
That was my anti-tank plus my Thunderkin anti-tank. So, when I did run across any Space Marines, I was okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. So quick tangent to that. The Space Marines, if they're playing Iron Storm, they have the Tech Marine who can just ignore 1 damage die per turn.
yeah,
So you shoot your D6 plus 6, deal 12 damage. It's like, nah, you dealt 0.
yeah. It's the space marine was stupid. It was dumb.
Everyone will get powered up. Okay.
Yeah.
That's another tangent. We'll talk about the codex.
Yeah.
Only 2 teams had them, but future talk.
But what about you, Pete? What'd you bring?
I brought demons, just greater demons,
Yep.
because I'm like, I gotta get these done. Like, I gotta get the painting done, and the easiest way to do is just do like 5 centerpiece and call it a day.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what I did.
Your
now
army
have
was
an
beautiful,
AO.
dude.
Yeah, it was a good looking army. But now you have an AOS army of demons too.
See, not really, because AOS is like it's all separate.
You can
unless you want to do like the Bellacore thing.
Bellacore unites.
Yeah.
You just want me named like.
Their point is like I look at 40k points like 300. Yeah, I look at AOS they're like 400, almost
450,
500.
baby.
I'm like, I don't think this is right. I can only run 3 demons. What's going on here?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Not strong enough. Huh?
Yeah, but packing them was kind of a pain because I had to do this like jigsaw thing with like
Yeah.
the wings and the AKs. Everybody likes there, but the Lord of Shane was tall enough that I don't even get the extra like shelf. So like 1 box was
Yeah.
just 1 space. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because I've got all 3 shelves in mind, so I've got like 2 normal shelves, and then if I really want the upside down extra shelf.
Yeah. I can try
I
to do
did
the upside down thing, but it's like even then I would have to like dodge some of the wings and stuff. And my models I usually make them pretty tall.
Well, also
My demon prince is on like a pillar, standing up with the wings.
big difference between my one sister falling off upside down and a greater demon and Nurgle falling off. I was like,
Oh
You
yeah.
do that with chaff infantry.
Yeah. But like travel was fun. Like getting Tim like booked my airplane, and then ironically we ended up on the same one.
Yeah, because but if you ever travel with Seth and you ask him, hey, which flight are you flying on? He will send you the receipt, not the flight number.
If you travel, if you travel with me, one thing you need to understand is that I am worried about me. So when other people are involved, it becomes a thing. That's why Tim did it. Because if I would have done it, it would have been a whole thing. It would have been a whole mess of issues.
Well, on that too, I kept asking Seth. He was like, "Oh, Peter's on our flight." I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Where's he sitting?" And he's like, "F."
That's all I said.
What do you mean F?
It was like F9, and I'm like, okay. All in all, like it was the getting there wasn't bad.
Yeah,
But, like as soon as we set foot in Atlanta, it turned into a nightmare. Our Uber driver,
Oh God.
oh my god, dude! Like Atlanta's airport is not like it's fast, it's very efficient, but as soon as you leave, it's like good luck. Because you walk like an extra football field to where they're picking up Ubers and Lyfts, and then you have people that are like, "You need a ride? Do you need a ride?" Which I've never had an Uber Lyft guy ask
That
me.
was such a red flag.
Super weird. Super
Even
weird.
before that, you were struggling to get on the. We were on the train, and you keep trying to get off. It's like, no, it's Seth. It literally tells you
stay on the
where to
plane.
get off.
Best part of the trip. Best part of the trip. If you ever,
It's like your babysitter.
No.
It's
If
like,
you ever go
no,
to
little
Atlanta-
Seppi, you got
if
away.
you go to Atlanta and you're just like on a holdover, the fucking plane train. So much fun. So much fun on a plane train. But either way, like, yeah, well, okay, so the worst,
Justify
the
not
worst part
knowing
about
where
the
to
plane
get
train,
off.
worst part
Yeah.
about the plane
Yeah.
train is it's not like, it doesn't show you, like,
They literally announce it.
it
and
does.
the
There's
letter-
a,
it had like a little thing, and it would announce it, but it would be like, it was weird because when you got to it, it would highlight that one, and then it would highlight the next stop.
Yeah.
So
Weird.
like, okay, yeah, but it was the same fucking color. So I was like, I guess I'm getting off. And then like, Again, I had so much fun on the plane train. Clearly, I've never been on a tram in an airport. All right,
It's the same color.
You're ruining my magical experience I had. Shut up.
Anyway, red all the time. Do I gotta get off red? It's like, no.
I would have gladly got off and not gonna rode the plane train again. Anyway, we get in our Uber and I try to get in the front seat and he's got like a bunch of shit in the front seat. Which, okay, I get it. Like if you don't want people in the front seat, we're strangers. Totally understandable. But there's us three in the back of like this. Like,
we are not skinny boys.
no, it was like a
let's put it that
Honda
way.
SUV. Again, which I'm sure is spacious if it's two of you. But like, we're just all like,
No. This is us driving. So I was like, dude, just get up real quick. Let me buckle my.
oh my god, Peter's like, I can't find my seatbelt. I can't find my seatbelt. And I'm like, move your ass, and I can get my seatbelt.
Dude, they don't get paid by the minute; they get paid by the trip. So
Exactly.
they're like,
No,
we're
that's
going to
true.
do this trip in half the time, half the recommended time.
Oh, and he took that to like heart. One, it's like 5 in the afternoon in Atlanta on like a Thursday, so there's a lot of traffic, and totally expected. You know, I'm not gonna complain about that. But this dude was driving like those cars were not there. Like he with no blinker, and he was like boop, 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 jumping in and out of traffic. It was so uncomfortable.
No.
And we live in like the worst city for traffic.
He's got the Giga Shad like third world Asian driving strat where he just stays on 2 lanes so he can merge into whatever lane he wants to.
Don't use a turn signal. Don't hinge your merging. Be as big as you want, and then just push everyone out of your way.
yeah,
It was even that. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like the guy clearly has operated as a Lyft Uber driver for a while, so he knew what he was doing. Like to the extent of getting us to the hotel, he knew what he was doing. Until we get to a 4-lane one way, and we got to go left, and we are in the 3rd lane from left, and the guy realizes it at the red light, and we are the first one at the red light. It's red. It's a one way and a one way, and he just pulls out in front of everybody and just like makes a left turn in the middle of a red light intersection. But he doesn't want to be like in the intersection, so he's kind of like as close as possible.
Yeah,
to the other two.
creeping up.
Yeah, like
slowly.
to make this left turn, and then he.
When it turns green, he just cuts him off.
Oh, he just gunned it. Just gunned it.
Yeah.
And then so people are like honking because like the crazy guy. And then so we're just sitting there, and then the guy not even a sweat, not even like just.
You can't acknowledge that.
He did. Like that could have been his dead child in the middle of that intersection. And it would just nope.
He's like, you got there,
All right.
right?
Yeah, you're there.
Did you die?
You're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a while. The guy on the way back was way better for us. Like the
Yeah.
Lyft driver we had, he was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was also at what, it's 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
It was like 5:30
Yeah, it's like
in the morning.
everybody's on
Yeah.
there like I
Yeah.
just woke up vibe,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you're not gonna get anything crazy. What about you, Reagan? Any crazy Uber, Lyft?
Dude, no, mine were chill. I mean, we were on hours like we were traveling at like 5 a.m. So like, yeah, nothing about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Um,
So we got there, right? We settled in, and then there was like a was it like a pre-event thing?
Yeah.
Like on Thursday.
It's like the narrative introduction overview, and they do it in the morning again, but I don't think they did it the last one. Like the one that was in New Mexico, I don't think they did it like that. And so like we were rushed to get to that night one. We hadn't eaten the majority of the day, and then we went to like. Oh, do you want to talk about that now, or like?
Okay, yeah. So I feel like the traveling we got there. We got all the traveling covered. Now let's start talking about.
we're
the
talking
event.
about day 0.
Okay. Okay. So like we show up to the hotel, the Airbnb. It's like 7, I think we got in,
Something
or
like that,
something.
yeah.
We get up there, we drop our shit off, we go down, we go to the hotel. Like we're hungry. We have like an hour now before the actual like narrative event starts, and so we're like, we can get some food totally. So we go to the restaurant in the hotel, which was the worst decision culinarily that I think we made the entire trip. And it wasn't like the food was bad. Because like
The food was good. Like generally speaking, it wasn't like blow me away.
The plate
but
size were a little shocking because it
Yeah.
makes my food looks like it's much smaller.
Yeah,
than
So
it is.
let's talk about your dish.
Yeah. So what did everyone order? Because I got the rosemary fried chicken.
Yep, same.
Rosemary fried chicken.
I actually didn't know, dude. I got.
Oh, you just got the bread.
I got. Yeah, some apple
Yeah,
biscuits and
that's right.
cornbread.
Yeah.
Because I had already eaten.
And you were
That
like,
were cupcakes.
And he was like, we're gonna order this. And the guy was like, it's an appetizer. He's like, we'll order for the table. It was like 3 biscuits.
they weren't even like full size biscuits.
No,
they were like
no, they were
little,
small
little
cupcake size.
tiny things.
Yeah, that was hotel. But what did you get?
I ordered shrimp and grits,
And then you didn't
got fried
eat
chicken.
that though.
and I did not eat the shrimp and grits because it never actually showed up, and we were on
But-
a mega time crunch.
Fried chicken showed up.
Yeah, fried chicken showed up. That was great. I think everyone at the table, except for me and Riggin, ordered fried chicken.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, man, this should be really easy to get right. And
Merritt
then-
got a salad,
Oh,
which
you're right,
honestly
you're right.
was probably the best choice the entire table made.
Yeah.
Like Merritt's salad looked good, and he was not complaining about it.
Yeah, agreed. But he did show up like after everyone had ordered, right? So it
Yeah,
was like,
true.
4 fried chickens and a shrimp and grit. How are you going to mess that up? And somehow we got 5 fried chicken. And
Well,
when you.
We sat down and we're
Yeah.
like, "This is gonna be a split bill."
No,
And-
it took a while to get the fried chicken too.
Well,
We
that's
were
what I
on
was saying.
time crunch
That's
already.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because one of our guys was like, "I think I'm gonna order the chicken and dumplings," and then the dude was like, "It's a 45-minute wait time for chicken and dumplings," which in my head is absolutely insane. If you are a restaurant, even if you're a hotel restaurant,
Yeah.
that is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Like you are hand making chicken and dumplings.
Well, by the way, they
to
weren't even
order.
busy. They weren't even busy.
They
I think that was like
Yeah.
There were 6 tables.
yeah, 6
No,
tables.
it was just a made to order thing, and I agree,
Yeah.
it should
Yeah.
not be on the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your MO.
But like, so
Well,
you're
it's
right,
like they got a Mise en Plus, Mise en Plus a little bit. I don't believe that they're just like, okay, let's just get the chicken out, mince it. Like there's just no shot. There's just no way.
But that's what I mean. But like,
Yeah.
even to that extent, like you would think that if I was gonna do chicken and dumplings and sell it like that, I would pre-cook the dumplings, which is arguably
Okay,
the
we're complaining
longest
on their
part.
menu. We didn't even get
Okay,
the chicken
sorry,
and dumpling. Let's
sorry.
fucking move
Okay,
on to
okay.
the chicken and
It
dumpling.
just blows my mind. That's all I'm saying. And my reference for this, before you just think I'm some dickhead talking on my ass, I was in the service industry for 14 years and I managed restaurants for 6. Like I have operated in $1 million a year restaurants in Austin, Texas. And so like I have a standard and I'm very lenient on that standard when it comes to like if I feel let down.
By the way, this is introduction every time we meet a waiter.
Every time. But not waiters, but you fuckers.
I
But-
just want you to know, heads up before you take out any order.
because I've been in the most stressful situations. Like I've been assaulted. Like I understand the level of stress that is in that industry, and so I'm very forgiving. This dude was arguably the worst server I've ever had in my entire life. I'm not kidding. And I don't want to fault him for this, but like he did not speak English well, and that is an issue when you are a server. And so, like, again, he didn't get Tim's orders in.
I don't even think it was the speaking English part. I think he was just like not trained at all. Although having
yeah.
like, cause
Well,
like,
and I think that compiled on it.
yeah. Cause I remember when he was trying to get like just stuff like sorted out. He was like, "Can we just do all the bills together?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure. That's gonna speed it up." It was like 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and there was another person helping him out.
And that's because
Yeah.
at the start we were like, it's gonna be separate tabs, and then like after 40 minutes to eat and get our food, we're like, "Hey, can we get our bills?" He's like, "I'm so glad y'all are getting on a one tab," and we're like, "We said separate tabs."
Yeah.
And then it was just like death in his eyes because I think he walked up to the table to hand Tim the bill, and then he left after I said that, and Tim was like, "Did anyone order Cokes?"
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, no. And so like he rang up a bunch of stuff that wasn't on our bill. It was just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And so it gets to like 10 minutes to launch, and Jim at our table was just like, "Give me money and I'll meet y'all down there." And so like, great. But when Jim came down, he was like, yeah, he had to take 4 or 5 things off that just we did not have. And so again, the food was not bad. The plating was questionable. Which does anyone want to talk about that? Because I've been talking a lot.
I mean, it's just when you put 3 pieces of chicken in
Like
like an
small
entire
piece, too, not
iron
like-
skillet that's,
Your iron
huge.
skillet was your plate.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, it definitely makes you question how much you're actually getting.
It was an 18-inch iron skillet with 1 breast, 1 wing, and 1 leg that was very small, and then rosemary sprinkled on it.
Yeah, you got a stick of rosemary.
Oh, stick of rosemary. And then it comes with potatoes, and those came on a cutting board, like coffee mug holder, and
Yeah.
then it had like the potatoes in a cup on this cutting board with like a little thing of gravy.
Potatoes and gravy with no seasoning in
At
it.
all.
it was very mid.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah. But that was like the start of our fun-filled like weekend. And
And
Peter and I,
yeah.
we argue on this channel. So we're arguing on the way up there. And then Tim yelled at me, which is bullshit.
It had to happen, dude.
It was bullshit. It was bullshit.
I didn't yell at just you. I yelled at both of you
True.
because
What were we arguing about?
Well, I was
What
asking
time we
Seth
were gonna leave.
when we were gonna leave, and he keeps telling me when he's gonna wake up, and I'm just like, I don't care when you're waking up.
That's what
just
it was.
tell me when you
Fucking
want
argument,
to leave.
round two. He goes, when are we leaving? I go, I'm getting up at this time to shower and leave. And then he goes, what does that mean? And that means,
No,
and
no,
to
I-
me,
no, no,
what
no,
that
I-
means to
I
me,
said,
what
when
that
do
means to me is
you
go fuck yourself.
want
I have a
to
plan.
leave?
You're more than welcome to walk with me. I'm going at this time.
No,
we
you
don't
just-
need to
you
hold
know what?
hands.
You just tell me when you're waking
We
up.
don't need to hold hands walking
I
up the
don't know what your
45-degree
day
angle hill
schedule
for 3
is.
blocks, all right? Oh.
I'm just saying, I asked a question. I expect that question to be answered, not another answer to a question I didn't ask for.
and because of that argument,
Tim knows that.
very,
I can see.
I was very hangry.
I would be
my
frustrated
my,
too.
my
Yeah, yeah.
you know blood sugar was up. I was done. Yeah, I kind of lit up on both of them. So
Yeah.
you know,
That was fun.
But I know who you were actually living up on.
Yeah.
The
You.
person that can-
You. He deals with me all the time. It's you. You were the one that was out.
Like, I like how you're just dying on this hill. It's like, I told him when I'm waking up. I don't care when you're waking up.
And I don't care when you leave. I'm giving you the time in which. Shut up. I know. And everyone who's reasonable will understand my point of view, and thank you for that.
This is the travel experience everyone should come
By
to
the way,
expect.
actually, you know,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
30 minutes into the podcast, we still haven't said shit about the actual event.
Well, we got a script. Hit him with the script. All right.
We're number 2, guys.
Day one.
no,
Day
hold on.
one.
But you got to finish up. Even despite the food issue, we still all made it down for the opening narrative.
Okay, yes.
Opening ceremony.
Which was it was like an opening ceremony. Super cool. They introduced all of the like key narrative characters that were going to be there, as well as like some of the background characters that you were going to deal with throughout the entire event. Really cool. You also got to check in on day 0 to just do early check-in, which is always recommended. And then really cool. I'll let you guys kind of jump on it, but they had a new system that they didn't use in the last narrative, but this one they introduced, and it was a fate system. And I'll let you guys go on that.
I want you to
keep it up.
explain
Yeah,
to
okay,
me.
you can
I
talk.
want you to
You're
explain.
right.
You're right.
Seth's reaction.
I probably
Yeah.
should talk about it because my fate was decided first,
fucking
and
can't.
it was clearly
I fucking
clearly meant to be that I was
The main character.
the main
essentially, yeah.
character. I got the God King card. Super cool,
Yeah.
and that affects what tables you play at for the rest of the event.
And
Which
apparently Tim's ego.
And then,
Because
and then
fucking
Seth was
that
Joey.
shit took
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
as soon as
Seth,
he
like,
was vote 10
hated
and he
it.
got the God. I'm a Sixers a battle player.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Joey. Yu-Gi-Oh! Joey.
Common, rare, epic. Fucking tell me your card was. Tell me your card was. Your card was dumpster. Your card might as well have been trash on the ground. Fuck you.
This is exactly what Joey would say. That's all I'm saying.
So the minute that I got that card, Seth's entire trip was ruined.
Dude, he was like, trade with me, Sim. Trade with me. Trade the card with me, guys.
No. It wasn't ruined until Tim made every fucking thing on the weekend about, well, I'm the God Emperor. What are we going to go eat? Well, the God Emperor, well, the God Emperor, and I'm going to kill you. And then he would do this like, oh, you know what you're doing.
Joey energy. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I
Joey
can't.
energy.
You know what? Joey gets laid. Fuck you guys. Yuki's a bitch.
Either way, the mechanics of the card, because I don't think we.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Bring it back in.
Yeah.
Be the voice of reason.
So yeah, we had there's like 13 different cards, I think, something like that. It was funny because they were tarot cards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like God
Yeah.
Emperor was number 1. Some I don't know. I had the Lightning Tower, which sounds badass, and that was like number 13 or 12.
I got the comment. I got the young boy.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
didn't even
young
bother naming my shit. They're like,
Yeah.
you're young.
I got the Tree of Life.
That's cool. So it was really cool because you took a card
background
and that was your
character.
assigned table. But the funny thing was, these were not a complete set of tarot cards.
No.
No.
Yeah, it went up to like some arbitrary number, not like the 21 or whatever. I'm not good at tarot, but you know what I'm.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
a complete deck.
Right.
Which was silly because they were actually selling these decks. You could buy them
Yeah.
incomplete for like $15. And
Well,
it's like,
I think the reason why they cut it down to just the 13 that you could get was because the battle groups were essentially a max number of people in each battle group were
Yeah.
13.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was it
That
13 or
doesn't
10?
justify.
It was supposed to be 10, but like our group had 11, and I think there may have been other groups and other factions that
Oh, okay.
Had more.
had
or
more
less.
or less. So and that was like a key reason, right? Because they needed you to match up what table you were going to play on. Last year at the narrative, they would have people pick the table they wanted to play
Yeah.
at, and then bring in your opponents, and then your opponents got to
it was like a
pick.
popular kid
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Right, right.
And that was like there was issues with that. The tarot card was a good life change
Yes,
for this.
100%.
Absolutely. Because last year it just seemed disorganized, and then it also it felt bad when it was like, because like if you were the defender of the room, you sat at the table, and then people would just be like, "Oh, what are you playing?" And it was like,
Yep.
"Oh, you're playing this? I don't want to play that." And they'd walk off, and you're like, "Okay, cool." Like,
Yeah.
like I don't care. I'm better than you.
So yeah, that was the card system. But what did you guys name yourself? Yeah, with the because like they asked for your name when you went to receive the tarot. Mine was very creative. I was Peter. The demon player type.
So
He's the great demon. Peter.
Destroyer of worlds.
last year I was Demon Lord Tim.
Okay.
And I was playing Corn Demons.
At
this
least with
year,
the title. Okay.
Yeah. This year I was Call Tim. So
Okay.
we're keeping it
Perfect.
consistent.
Nice.
I was Cardinal Long, and I had a whole backstory to it, which
Nobody asked.
Everybody
right?
cared about.
no one asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer because like we did a backstory. Well, I did a backstory with like 3 other guys, and we wrote each other in. And Tim,
Yeah.
Tim just showed up because he's Bozeman.
Yeah.
But it was like a cool thing. Like it was cool because it got like it got like me more invested in the lore, but at the same time, no one asked. Like no one asked.
Well, that's kind of a bummer because like I did have people ask about like mine, like mostly
really?
not the specific lore, but like I actually had people asking like, so why is your army like fighting with the Imperium? Why are you like, what's your goal here on the planet and stuff? Yeah, like I actually had some invested people like wondering about like
You're
the
the
background
outlier.
of my guys.
Maybe next year I'm just gonna bring like Tyranids and make them fight for chaos or something.
Yeah,
and people won't care.
Nobody cares about my paint job. Nobody cares about my stories.
It wasn't okay. Well, that's another tangent.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. Honestly, I believe the greatest form of RP is to go in and play yourself, so I kept it at Riggins too. I'll talk about the stories for a sec, because honestly, there was a lot of stories going around, but they were all in the Discord chat. And so to beat
Yeah.
that, each one of us got placed into a Discord for our respective faction. There were 3 factions, like Annihilation, which was Chaos. There was Resistance, which was Xenos, and then Enlightenment. Yeah, big quotes.
Yeah.
And then Enlightenment, which was Imperium. And those are soft values because we all played Path of Enlightenment, and we were all whatever ramshackle faction.
You guys were at least you know.
you guys
You
were,
guys make
and,
sense. We were
and-
demons.
demons and Votan.
We had Eldar 2,
Yeah.
and then we had some other Xenos. But again, like they did this better than last year because last year was literally like if you are Xenos, you're the Xenos faction. You could branch out, but Xenos was the faction. Here it was like Enlightened.
It was
Annihilation.
implied what it was,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and then you can play with your friends, which is
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah,
what
that's
you want.
exactly.
And more importantly, not play against your friends.
Well,
no. More importantly, is you have the same lunchtime.
Well,
okay, that's
that
important.
was
We'll get to the not play against your friends part at the end of this.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Day one.
Day one. How was everybody's day one?
It was
This is the
terrible.
first time.
Oh,
It was terrible.
It was terrible because I got 4 hours of sleep because we're in a bunk bed, you piece of shit. No, day one was fun. The Airbnb was not great though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not blaming anyone.
No,
I
I
understand
get
you took responsibility and booked Airbnb. Like I'm not mad about that. But like
Back to travel.
the Airbnb did not have AC.
When you look at our script, it's like 1, 2, and go back to 1.
This again.
Go back.
The Airbnb did not have AC.
Yeah.
It was a climate-controlled HOA that they only talked about on the start of the month, and it was in Atlanta, and it was in the winter, so the heat was going. But outside in real Atlanta, it was like 72 degrees.
Yeah.
It was not ideal. But other than that, It was like day one was fun. I loved day one.
Yeah.
Breakfast
What
that
was your
morning
game? What
was,
your game?
was
Any-
great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what?
Where did we go for breakfast?
Didn't we go to the coffee shop across the
Oh,
street from the
day two.
hotel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, day two.
Yeah.
Or day one.
No, no,
I
no.
thought that was day
No,
one.
you guys brought us like somebody went out and got us bagels and coffee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Which
You-
that
you
place
got
was
us
good.
Yeah, it was
But
so good.
It closed like Saturday and
And
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. Which was weird because it's a breakfast bagel shop.
I think they
across
closed
from-
Sunday. They closed Sunday. I don't think they closed Saturday because me and Merritt went to get food.
Oh,
You were
okay.
like,
Okay. Well, then they closed Sunday, which again, still though, you're a breakfast bagel location. Like it wasn't just bagels though. Like it was like a high end coffee breakfast thing.
Yeah.
But they were closed Sunday, which is just weird. And again, you're next to two of the biggest convention centers in Atlanta. It just seems like that's not the ideal day to be closed. But
Yeah.
going into Atlanta, there was some controversy online about the dining experiences of Atlanta. So expectations.
But yeah,
high.
breakfast was good. And
Yeah,
then game
breakfast was
one. This is actually our first game
Yeah.
of narrative. Is it mine anyways. For actually, I think it's actually our first for this edition, right? Everybody
For
is
this,
For this edition, yeah. And
there
then-
was some confusion.
I think there was a lot
Yeah,
of confusion.
there was.
So things that weren't clear. We all came in and we're just gonna play a game. Cool. But there were several systems going on at once. First and foremost was, I'm just ask questions and answer them and how we go.
Yeah.
But like, first question people had was like, are we playing with narrative rules? Crusade rules specifically. The answer is yes, but like people are really unclear about that. So do we track experience points? Do we use agendas? Which Crusade books are we even using?
Yes.
And there was some vagueness on that because the core, Leviathan book came out, has the like core Crusade rules, which is very small. It has the Leviathan expansion to that, which is like
The
necessary.
Tyrannic Wars.
Yeah, the Tyrannic
Yeah.
Wars, because that has like
It has the maps
agendas
and the
and maps and
agendas, yeah.
missions and things like that. I actually think the missions were handled really well.
They were.
But quick tangent that everyone was just given mission cards. Used the mission card. Awesome. Worked.
Yeah.
98%.
Yeah.
There was one mission card that has missing information, or whatever that's like.
Oh yeah,
It was in the book.
it was
It was
just
in
because
the
it
core
was
book.
Yeah.
The core
Yeah,
book.
yeah. It was-
Either way, so eventually, like on day, I think it was 2, we started like asking around and getting some serious answers. But day 1 was hectic. A lot of the staff just wasn't
Well,
informed.
first game was fine because nobody started
no-
with anything.
nobody
And the
started
second game was when everybody was kind of like, so you get the experience, you get the upgrade. But I mean, let's go into our opponents first. My opponent was great. I play versus orcs and I play versus Tyranids. Both of the players were like really friendly, super understanding, and I just had a blast, man. Like honestly, like what about you guys'?
Yeah, I started with orcs. My first game was actually a 2v1. So the
Oh yeah, you took one for the team. Yeah,
I
yeah,
did.
yeah,
I took
yeah.
one for the team. I played with one of our battle group members. So he played Chaos Knights. I played Votan. Votan though at 1,000 points is pretty ass. And then we played against an orcs player. So he played 2K points of orcs. Great first game, super friendly. All three of us had a great time. And actually, really interesting narrative thing was because he took on 2 opponents, he was given a coin, and he was able to use that coin in 2 ways. One, he could either use the coin to re-roll any roll in the game, or he could hold on to the coin and turn it in at the end of the game
For
to
more
the,
like infamy
for more infamy or fame. He ended up using it on an attack towards my Votan, so I got the coin in the end, and I did use it to gain more infamy with my
So
Votan.
I think we need to talk about that. And I
Yeah.
think before we get into our games, let's actually talk about the mechanics.
Oh, okay.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
True.
Yeah. So you mentioned infamy and fame. That's another mechanic that was going on throughout the narrative.
Yep.
So I'm going to rewind a little bit. Secondaries
Oh,
was
wait,
another
wait,
question.
let's do
we
this.
had.
This is how is the game structured? Because now we know
yeah,
we know
yeah.
how it's run. So like
Yeah.
let's go with like the mission card we were given, and then like how like leveling and like what
Okay.
our side objective is. Let's go with that.
I'll just talk about this.
Yeah.
Either way, so everyone got like a mission card. That was your mission. Cool. Pretty
Yep.
simple. Everything on the book. The next thing was your fame or infamy quest.
Yep.
So everyone was just given a quest of like, you need to do this thing to go for fame or go for infamy. These are magic points that just like at the end of the day are another mission. And if you did the best, like you got the most MacGuffin points, you probably got a reward. At
Like
the
a
end of the
reward.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like usually the fame one was get your leader in the middle of the
There's an
board.
aggressive one. There's a passive
There's-
one.
Yeah,
There's
there's
a
the aggressive.
lot.
Yeah. So the famous one is usually be aggressive, usually with your leader. Like your leader needs to get a kill, go to the center of the board,
and he needs to survive.
and survive.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you're playing infamy, your leader just needs to chill in the back and also live.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that actually. It like was a mission better than just kill things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. And then generally, wasn't there like another
There were
secondary?
room objectives.
Yeah. There's like a
objectives.
room objective. So like your
Which most of the time is just like wreck shit up.
So
yeah.
so
But like
there was the room objectives, and then there's the faction objectives. So
right.
there was
Oh
four.
yeah. So you had your faction objective. So one of your 3 factions, and you had some goal. So like hold the line was one of them. And these are very up to interpretation.
Yeah.
So it was like, did you hold the line? It
Or
was
like do the beacon thing or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes it was very vague, and you had to like just talk it out with your opponent, and that was encouraged. That was sort of expected, and it became clear and necessary throughout the event.
And I think like too, that's how they gave you points towards like certain awards at the end of the event was how well did you describe what you did to support your faction's goals to the judge when you turned in your points, right?
Which it was great in like theory. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was great in theory, but like until day 3, I found out it was not just it wasn't just a 1 or null scale. It was
Right.
a like 1 to
Yeah,
unknown
like, there-
scale.
exactly.
There was like some grading.
And so that was like the thing, because like I throughout my entire weekend was like sacrificing doing like winning the match to do faction goals and to do fame, because I was like, I'm just gonna go for fame. Like screw it, I'm just gonna go for fame.
Yep.
And then I get to the end and I had like 7 points in fame, and then somebody won who had, I'm guessing, way more than 7.
Right.
Because it just wasn't like it wasn't like told to us the rubric for which you would score. And that's I can understand, like, it's again up for interpretation, up for the judge deciding. It's just not having an understanding of what you can potentially do and what you are missing out if you don't.
Right.
Kind of stinks. And then like it seemed like a lot of fame was just kind of handed randomly out during the game by like people who were just like walking through, like the cosplayers or the narrative event people. And so like at one point, like I said, the coin,
Yeah.
where it's like, cool, okay, like you get a coin, you get a turn for fame, but like you have to assume there's more than just one person getting that every game. And then like one guy, one of the corn guys, like the main narrative chaos guy, he literally would just walk around and just give people fame.
Okay.
That's
to
interesting.
be fair, it could be in the like the briefing and stuff, and we just didn't hear it. Because there was some issue with the audio, at least for me. Like
was
half
issues
the
with the
time,
audio.
I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Just because like I was like farther away. Some people were a little bit more soft spoken, and then the amplification in the room wasn't the best.
they had one like
Yeah.
Portable.
It's-
one
it's-
portable
yeah.
speaker.
It could have been mentioned, and we just missed it.
No, in fact, it was overtly not.
It was
not.
So
It was
this is supposed to be narrative. It's not supposed to be like concrete rules. And
Yep.
there's pros and cons to that.
Okay.
But I think something you gotta walk in with is a grain of salt. That this is it's not a hardcore competitive game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta temper it with like there's going to be confusion, there's going to be mistakes, and there's going to be a lot of wiggle room.
Yep, and that's why I said I think they kind of judge a little bit of that, of how well do you describe it when you're turning in your points, because they ask you like, oh, did your general gain fame or infamy, right? And it's like,
Like,
how,
I can see Seth-
if you're
Seth's like,
going,
yes,
if you're
yes.
going for,
I mean-
if you're going for infamy, like I was, I could have played my general as a bigger piece of shit than he was already, right? Because I made him sit in the back of the line. I made him shoot his own people over the weekend. Like, it
There was
great.
one where you literally had to kill your own
own people.
units
Yeah,
to be
and I
infamous.
did, and it was fantastic.
Great.
And actually, that was day 1. So, great start to the weekend, right?
So like, I got 7 points out of 6 games. The only one I got 2 points in was when we played in the room that was like the burn the relics. And so like the only reason I got another fame point was because I was playing Sisters. And then the narrative guy was a archaeotech who was studying religions. And so it was like
He was an archaeotheologist.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
one and
Yeah.
only on Imperium.
And so he came by the table and was like, sisters. And I was like, just fucking around with him. And then he was like, oh. And then when I went up to score, he put 2 in. And so, like, again, like, it would have been cool to know, like, if I invested more into that little interaction, would I have gotten more fame?
A little bit more tickle fighting.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
But it's something to try next year.
Yeah, next
and
year.
see how we
Next year
see,
we'll roll
see
out.
how
Yeah.
it affects it, right?
But speaking of rooms, we did get the forge. Okay, the infamous.
I think that was day
metallic,
2, wasn't it?
No, it was day one.
Was day 1?
we
The-
did it
that was
on
the
day
second- yeah,
one,
that
and
was the
then
second.
again
And then
on
we-
day
we-
3.
yeah. The infamous metallic glitter.
No.
The
We didn't,
five-
no. Day one we got sand. Nah, we didn't get the metallic glitter. We got the
We did. It
We
was.
did.
We
it was
did.
the second game.
Yeah.
That was the second.
Oh, the
game.
last
Yeah.
game was
Yeah.
sand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
the fivefold forge sounds cool. Has,
Mad looks great, by the way.
Mad looked great.
Oh, yeah.
But boy golly, did these guys think it was a good idea to sprinkle glitter. It was supposed to be like this ashy, like forge metal stuff that fell over everything. What they did is just threw black glitter all over something.
Super cool idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
It was cool.
It was almost a cool idea.
It was cool, except for
We are at the complaining podcast.
No.
Like literally
Like,
every
I-
fucking.
I-
we had
I'll be
fun,
honest.
but this is where they
No,
fucked
no.
up. I don't like.
it was a really cool map because like this, like while I didn't get the cool table, which somebody else did, where it was like a whole factory and then like a crashed Thunderhawk gunship.
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
I got a map where it was like a kill team robot manufacturing thing. So they had like
Okay.
kill team suits like hanging from like the Octarius terrain.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
piece was cool. Yeah,
It was cool. And so like the glitter, which was I think it was like sand actually,
Yeah,
because it was
it-
magnetic.
It was Pharaoh's powder, iron powder,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
mixed with mica.
yeah, that's where I think they could have changed it. But the glitter, when you walked on the table, it was like, oh, this is cool because it looked like soot or it looked like
Oh, I was
material.
like, no.
See, the thing
Now-
is, I got like the very little. But when I look at some of your guys' table, that shit was like.
And that's what I was about to say. Because I didn't paint my guys very well, but there are people who painted very, very well. And I can't imagine putting my miniature on a table because I was blowing that shit off my miniatures day 6. Like when I was like packing them, I was like, fucking glitter.
So,
like,
oh yeah, I was gonna. Here's my 2 major problems. The iron powder was iron, so it was magnetic.
Yeah.
So if you had magnets, which almost everybody does during travel,
Yeah.
you stick your model on, you lift it up, boom, it's all of your magnet. The other problem was when I slapped it on my A case. Sometimes you push your models to like slide them right into place, and you just hear that like grinding
Yeah.
sand, and it's like. Fudge. Like, damn it.
yeah.
So that was awful. There was another room with non-metallic powder. I still strongly dislike glitter. But
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that one I will say did not come home with me. But
Yeah.
the Five Forge fucking magnet powder land, that shit did.
so please, John GW, if you're gonna do this again, no glitter.
I mean, like, I will say though, I know the tables, like some of them were sparse, but compared to like last year, it was
It was
better.
a step up.
It was
okay.
better.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
better.
100%.
Because last year there were like some buildings, but they're all like just GW buildings. Like there was no like, again, I cannot preface this enough. Like there was literally 2 tables where they took a Thunderhawk gunship, cut it in half, and made like a crashed rubble terrain.
Dude,
yeah.
and that was so cool.
You know what's the crazy part? Those 2 table were not even the best table.
No, and that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when our first room where they had a literal like statue that was like chaosed out with like drilled into its eyes and like given like technology and shit. They did such a cool job on some of the tables.
Yeah.
And then the other ones were fine. It's just when you're sitting
just
at
pales
that
in
table.
comparison,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
When you're
yeah.
sitting at that table and looking over and going, man, that sucks.
Like most of the other table, you'll be happy to play in
Oh, yeah.
when you go to a club or to
yeah.
like a game store. But I like the one that I play on day 2, like that one with like the big like mountain.
Yep.
Like with the versus the Tau guy with the orca. That was a crazy match.
We should show pictures as we're talking.
Yeah,
Like I said,
I got
got
some like
pictures.
B-roll also.
But not
And
even
you
that,
should
dude.
post them.
I have a
The
bunch of stuff
coolest
too.
table was the last room we were in,
Oh,
and
the
they
the
literally
pyramid
had,
thingy?
yeah, they
Oh,
literally
yeah.
had a, like it had to be 4 foot tall, like Necron tomb entrance. It was that was so
Yeah,
cool.
that was
so
cool.
cool. I didn't get to play on it, but that was cool.
Yeah, it's still cool. Anyways, my second game, first game was Orcs, second game Orcs again. I got to play against Chicago Orc. I know you also got to
That
play
is
against
dope.
him over the weekend. Nicest dude you will ever meet, but we got to play with his big, was it Stampa?
Stampa.
Yeah, and man, such a fun way to like end the first narrative day is like taking on a Stampa with a bunch of short little squats. That was a fun time.
So I think that's a quick takeaway that I had was like bring the fun stuff.
Oh,
Don't bring
yeah,
the sweaty
100%.
stuff. Because then you'll have some games.
Yeah.
Especially people were bringing in legacy units. Like there's
Yes.
legacy,
Yeah.
and I didn't know about that. But some people brought in like giant ships, 2 feet long.
I got to play against one, and
that's
it
beautiful.
hit hard.
Well, and so-
Holy
Yeah. I played versus the Orca, but like definitely on the list thing that you just brought up. When I went to this, I was like, oh, I'm playing demons. It's all melee. Maybe I should bring a Be'lakor because I don't want to get shot down on turn 1. I still want to play the game.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, dude, next time I'm going, it's just
Not
gonna be
Be'lakor.
full meme list because it was like at least for me, I'm melee, so I can kind of take my time and go hard.
Yeah.
And or kill and do the objective.
Be'lakor makes you not care about cover because you have your shadow. Your
Yeah.
shadow.
Yeah. So Be'lakor essentially give you like a worse off lone op, but it's like an aura that everybody gets. Because I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna take me maybe 2 turns to get to the board. So I don't want to get shot because if I lose half, the game is not gonna be that fun for both parties. But in this case, I think Be'lakor pretty much just kind of just sits next to my Lord of Chain and just play babysitter because
Yeah.
I had enough firepower.
Yeah.
But I was melee, so I can kind of slow play it a little bit, and then we'll have a setup and then do an explosive turn 3, turn 4. But you had shooting, and you can't just tell your opponents I'm not going to shoot this turn. It's
Right.
just- right? You can't
Yeah.
do that.
So every turn I was
Yeah.
able to shoot with every single one of my guns.
Yep.
Which if you do good,
And you are Iron Hands.
Well, and he's
Right?
one of the 2 new codexes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll talk about codex here. After,
Yep.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
end of day 1, we'll talk
Yeah.
about the codices. But yeah, so I had a lot of guns. I was a full shooting. If you got into melee, I was in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But big open board, I shot all my guns, and you do the math on that, and you can drop an army in 2 or 3 rounds of
Yeah.
shooting.
How many times did somebody get a melee with you?
1 game.
Yeah.
But then at that point, it didn't matter because you probably
Yeah.
lift maybe 40% of his army already. I'm
Pretty
assuming.
much, yeah.
And okay, so my day 1 was good. My day was fun. I played one dude who I can't remember where he's from. I think he was Tennessee or Mississippi or something. He played Necrons. My first game, it was fun. I was not gonna win that game, so I was just doing every thematic thing I could think of. And that's the one thing that I'll touch on it when we get to codexes. But so we were playing. It was fun. He brought destroyers and it was. I don't want to say it was competitive, but it was definitely a list that wouldn't be scoffed at. And I was running stuff that it's I'm sisters. It's not competitive. I wasn't playing the one that won one tournament.
I'm gonna link 2 or 3.
Well, at the time, only once is I got off the plane and people were like, sisters won a tournament. I'm like, what the fuck? But it was a fun game. The dude was relatively newer, but it was a lot of fun. It was enjoyable. It was a back and forth. It was a bloodbath. It was not a game where I felt bad. It wasn't a game where he felt bad, and I lost. My second game, I played probably the best player I played the entire weekend, and I mean that. It was some orc player out of Austin.
She was my first opponent.
Okay.
Yeah.
An orc player out of Austin. She was super fucking cool. Her army was all glittered out, and we played on the fucking glitter table, which was just ironic. But it was such a fun game. But it at the end of the game, I felt so bad, and it wasn't anything I did. It wasn't anything she did. It was just her dice rolled like mine on this fucking channel, dude. I swear to God, I lost a vehicle, and then it's sisters. I'm toughness 10 with 11 wounds. Grotz can get me out of here. But it was. But even in this
Toughness
horrific.
3.
No,
You said 10.
no, a toughness 10 vehicle.
Oh,
I'm saying
yeah.
Grotz can get my vehicles out. But even though she lost, and she lost bad, and again I felt so bad because it was one of those things where I was like, come on, dice, act like you normally do. Don't be dicks. 6-5, 6-5. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But she took it so well, and then I met her boyfriend, I guess. And I only say that because I don't know if they're married, but I met her boyfriend and partner.
Yeah.
And they literally thematically dressed up in these rainbow glittery orc costumes to play their rainbow glittery orc armies, and they were just both such a joy to be around.
They're called Rainbow Y, I believe.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
were just
thing.
the
Yeah.
boyfriend had this huge beard, and he had little fucking bows, and again a suit that was all tie dyed and rainbowed.
Uh-huh.
It was a fun experience. That was probably the best person I played the entire weekend.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I think we were talking to them because they were talking about I came from Austin, and I guess I never ran into him, But we were just kind of like sharing experiences.
What about you, Reagan?
Yeah, awesome. Honestly, I had a few fun games. I remember like we had a NID. I remember I was facing against a NID player, and she was all dressed up because she was like a mad scientist who was like experimenting with NIDs and doing like dangerous science, I guess.
Nice.
And at the same time being like not completely on a rocker. Like that was her character, so that was cool. Yeah, NIDs have a hard time crunching through tanks.
Yeah.
Which it is what it is. Those are NIDs.
So first day, really fun. Like everybody seems to have a good time, and this is like a little bit of foreshadowing for me because I'm pretty sure every game I play I was the loudest person in our group by like a 2x amount, and my voice, it's like you better chill or the next 2 days is gonna be wild. And that now takes us to day 2. Day 2, how is everybody feeling? I feel great. I actually finally understand how to play narrative because I was asking you guys a lot. I was like, okay, so how does this work again? Like EXP, what do I need to...
Yeah. Like the narrative book is for Crusade rules, and 10th is poorly written. Like I said it, not a hot take. It's just poorly written.
It's written incomplete.
It's very incomplete. It's very all over the place.
I wish they were together. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I wish like everything I need was like this is where you get experience. This is where you get all the stuff. There was some stuff that you have to.
So like I can compare it to the Kill Team narrative rules, which are pretty well written, honestly. And it has a very nice flow to it. Yeah, you just need to jump back and forth in the book and like keep cross referencing things, and it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. But we got our stuff. I got way too much experience. I don't know about you. Like everybody else rolled like complete trash, and Lord of Shane is just like he's just kill stealing. He was your ADC that like your support did like 90% of the work, and then they just press stop and the ADC going. And the next thing you know, you're like he was like level 2 or like the 2 tier above before everybody else even leveled. So I'm like. That's a little
The rank.
Yeah.
So every rank you get a battle honor, which is like a buff.
It's like a buff. Yeah.
That's pretty much how my Land Fortress ended up. It was like MVP for the first 2 days, and so day 3, it's just rolling up like an impossible to kill tank that's just shooting on re-rolls, and it was disgusting.
I was trying my best to make my Demon Prince the main character, but every time he jumps down, he tries to kill something, it didn't go his way, and then it's like, oh, that's crazy. He's not the big demon. Let's just kill the little guy. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I mean, like my nerve, I didn't start accruing points until day 2 because the confusion.
Okay.
Because
I think a lot of people were like that.
Yeah, and so like my day 1 was null, and then like on day 2. Okay, so day 1, I was told we weren't using Tyrannic Wars, and then like that spread like wildfire through everything, where people were like, "We're not using Tyrannic Wars," which is kind of weird because
for me it wasn't too bad because I don't know if you've seen the vehicle one where it's like the first thing you have to take is like when your opponent dies, they're like battle scars on a 4-up instead of a 2-up. So I'm like, I'm never taking that anyway, so it wasn't bad for me.
Striding behemoths.
Yeah.
So and that's where like walkers and striding behemoths was like cool, but at the same time like I was reading through like the narrative stuff, and it's like if you battle up or if you ready up, you can get a weapon. And that's not in the course. That's in the Tyrannic.
Same for agendas. Agendas are in the Tyrannic.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so I wasn't doing agendas either the first day.
Oh.
No, because again, like agendas weren't made apparent that we were doing those. And so like I didn't get any points, but like going to the second day, I was like, oh, God damn it. So now I'm accruing points, but I think the narrative rules are written better for armies that are elite and armies that are monstrous, because while I did have a few of my people rank up to level 1, I did not have any level 2s by the end of it all.
Okay.
About
my army.
It's not like I didn't kill anything, but it's just like I had a very spread out army, I guess. Like I just had a lot of war scrolls in my army, which I'm playing sisters. They're like a pseudo horde, but that felt really bad when I wasn't playing another person who was playing a medium size or my size army, because that's like my day 3. But
so I was like, I had the opposite problem, because I mean, people couldn't kill tanks, not a lot of anti-tanks, so I ended up tabling people. Space Marines have a thing. Okay, first of all, I had my codex.
Yeah, you had like the full thing.
Tyranids also had their codex, and we were allowed to play with them. Yeah, but
they were like
no other codices at this time have been released.
Yeah,
and so Space Marines have a thing where basically if you table your opponent, every model that's alive gets 2 experience points. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
you get experience point for participating in a match for each unit, and you get experience point for every 3rd kill you get. And then I also had another agenda where it was just like pick 3 units, and if they live, they get experience points. So cool. But basically, I ended up getting tons of experience points. So I stopped counting, and I actually stopped using my battle honors because I didn't want this huge advantage over my opponent. Because I was at the point where literally every single one of my models had 2 battle honors, literally. And it was just not fun to play with.
I look at what people have, and then I'll either turn it off or I'll just use it.
Yeah, I
That's
basically
usually,
looked at my opponent because there were clearly some more like power gamers that knew what they were doing and had better lists and better understanding of the rules and could play better. And then there was not that. And, you know, it's a narrative event, right? It's not a tournament. You expect both.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to be able to, like, turn them off, dial it back. I even told my opponents, hey, please use yours, and I won't use mine.
Yeah. Reagan fucking dropped down his things like, please just do anything because I'm about to.
We'll talk about it later. But for my day 2, like I played Chicago Orc. Great dude.
Oh, yeah.
Super great.
Super fun. He won an award for best overall, which he's a phenomenal painter, and his cosplay was like a funny, quirky orc. And
He also had a diorama.
yeah, his
Yeah,
diorama was
yeah.
cool,
He
like
had
a
a
blown
block and
out
diorama to carry his army.
Yeah.
It was like some blown out, like it reminded me of like a blown out air hanger. kinda.
Yeah, pretty much.
You had to travel with that thing.
Yeah.
It was like this big.
And he drove, dude. I mean,
I mean,
from
you have
Chicago,
to.
but
Yeah.
still,
You
yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a fun game. And then my second game for that day, I played against World Eaters, and it wasn't really World Eaters. It was like Chaos that were painted like World Eaters that were doing like they could summon demons. I don't know which one that is, but it's in the Chaos book.
Okay.
But he was a fun guy. Fun guy. It's just like that's one of those things where I was going after fame. I knew I was gonna lose, and so like turn 4, it was a bloody battle, and I was like, hey, like you win. I admit you win. Let's just run everything in the middle and see what the fuck happens. And so like. We have every unit that we have left, which I think for him was like Demon Prince, 2 Cultists, and like a Mauler Fiend. And then I have like Sister's unit, Penitence Engine, my little Inquisitor, who's my guy, and then like the 1 Palatine or something. And so we just ran in there and started whacking each other. And that was fun. It was a fun game.
Oh, that's awesome. What about you guys? Day 2?
Day 2. Day 2 was, I have my one of 2 salty players.
Oh.
Yeah. He's just a guy who like, I don't know, like he wasn't bad in any way. You could just tell that he was like unhappy to lose. And, you know, it was just like, you know, out of there. And I get it. Like it happens. But, you know, like I had 4 players who were just awesome people, super cool to talk to. And then I think 2 players who were just like salty. They weren't like angry or mad or let me phrase that. It wasn't like they were aggressive.
Yeah.
It was just like, I'm not happy to be here. And I don't want to be here. And it's like, all right, like, you know, sometimes, and yeah, like, man, though, when I lose, like, I'm usually happy to lose. I'm like, man, you kicked my butt. Well
when
done.
I lose,
That's
someone's
awesome.
got to know where they went wrong.
I can take a loss unless it's a Peter. Like when I feel you, like you know, if you lose, it's like, oh, at least I got to spend some time playing games. You know, it's not like I'm gonna go home and beat my dog because I can't roll dice right. You know what I mean? Like, and there's some people that are like that where they just like this is their entire life and their entire like mental is based on if they can roll dice good, which blows my mind.
I was like, Warhammer is not a good competitive
At
game.
all, at all. Like anything that's dice are involved, you immediately should not put this much stock in your like if it's gonna ruin or enhance your day.
All my opponents, I don't know. Young Warrior is apparently all the chill people are in Young Warrior. Everybody was awesome. Day 2, dude, the best part is when you get the good maps. You get a good player that brings like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get that like I can understand why people like narrative. Because before when I was playing it, it just feels like a regular 40k game. And then the one when I played versus like the Tau guy, he had like an orca. The map was like it's not a competitive map, but it was like the mountains were like this tall.
Yeah.
And then he like dropped his guy in. The Tau guys came down. Look at Be'lakor. And it's like nope, we're fucking flying. and then like so he had 2 stands. So he had like a smaller stand and he has a taller stand. And it was getting hard to move around. So he switched to his taller one. So his orca was like, it looks like it's like leaving because it's like, I'm not doing this. This is crazy. And then Be'lakor attacked him. The thing exploded. And then the fucking guy that he beamed up just ended up where he originally was. It's like, okay.
Well, you were behind me in that game, and I like turn over, and this orc Orca is like his. You say like his two stands.
Yeah.
His two stands were like 3 feet.
Yeah, they were
like
small.
the model was very high on this table.
For those who haven't seen an Orca, it's literally like a 1.5 foot giant spaceship.
it's like a brick.
It's a brick, yeah.
brick
Yeah.
of resin, and it's just like and like his thing was like this, dude. It was like
almost the size of one of these boxes.
it's almost that big.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild to see that guy put that much faith in that base stand, dude.
It's metal, so it's like it's a sturdy boy.
It was metal.
Yeah, it was metal.
The thing was okay.
Yeah, and that was the bro from Tabletop Titans, yeah?
He was a friend of the show. Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, super cool dude.
Yeah,
Like, we
super
talked for
chill.
hours
Yeah.
after.
But
What about you?
that wasn't me. That was my game.
I was looking at Tim.
You're looking at me and you said, "What about
They
you?"
don't know that.
For me, day 2, the first game, really cool terrain. It was like this old abandoned factory type thing, and so I actually got to play against an Eldar player whose army, the paint job on that was actually one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen.
Did we get
I
pics
told
of that?
them, what's that?
Did we get pics of that?
I do. I have,
Okay,
I have
you can
pictures of
Google a
it.
picture
You
of that
can
army.
Google it because this army was on display in Warhammer World for X amount of
Yeah.
time. And I guess the guy that painted it put it up on eBay, and this particular guy just happened to snag it. And I got to play against it. Super cool. He also had a huge ship that hit for trucks. Like one hit was 5 damage, 5 mortal damage. Like I couldn't even save it.
Jesus.
And he hit me with 3 of them. So my land fortress was on 1 health. That was his mistake, though. He ignored the land fortress the rest of the game.
He probably felt bad. He's like, oh.
But no, it was super fun because the terrain was really cool, and we basically played out a narrative that he was here, he was on this terrain, and it was like his, the Eldar's factory for thousands of years, and I was like, nah, we're here. That's ours. That's ours. That's ours. That's ours.
Because you played on the map that had like all sorts of big giant drills
Yes.
and like mining
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, how dwarfish? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was perfect. And then at one point we were in round 2, and he wanted to bring his bikes up, but he could only do it if they were in cohesion. And there were two pieces of terrain that he could set them on, but there was space just a little too far away. And he's like, "Oh, I guess I can't do that." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I pulled it over. I was like, "It's close enough, dude. Let's do it." So that was a super fun game. I think I inched that one out barely, but it was super good. And then my second game was against Tau. So
Oh,
it
wow,
was,
so I was against Tau and you were against Tau. Because
Yeah.
we were next to each other, too. Like, you were like...
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we were like kitty corner, and Riggin was right behind me too
And then
in that
we just
second
sent
game.
Seth
So
away.
yeah,
Well,
so was away.
Day 2 is where it started to like. Day 2 is where I felt like the event started to fall apart just a little. I'm not saying that the event fell apart by any
Jesus,
means.
everybody was happy. but Seth had to go.
The peak
No.
of confusion.
I just like day 2 is I think where it started to get rocky, and it was just this was not because the tournament by any means. This was because people who were attending the tournament.
Okay.
Because day 2, it was like people would get fucking wasted and not show up for the games, or people just drop
Oh,
out.
yeah.
And so like I sat at my table on day 2 when I played the Chaos guy who came from another room to play me. I sat at my table for like an hour waiting for my opponent to show up.
Jeez, yeah.
And I was not alone in the room with this. It was like there were like 3 people in our group who were just sitting there waiting to play. And like again, there's nothing the tournament organizers can do
Yeah,
about
people
that.
are going to drop for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
It's just like that's when day 2 started to like kind of like start going downhill, and then day 3 it kind of culminated for me. Like a downhill thing.
But yeah, Tau guy, super fun as well. It was shooting against shooting, and the one thing he didn't anticipate was that my pioneers could remove invisibility, and so he like put some invisible guys like way up front, and I just kind of
mean
rolled
stealth?
in on them. Yeah,
Yeah,
stealth.
stealth,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I just kind of rolled up on them, and I was like, cool. So those were my my grudge right from the beginning. So I get all of those command points right now.
Jeez, dude.
So
But yeah, I love that mentality because like a lot of the games we're like, screw this, we're going to do the fun thing.
yeah.
You charge down
were-
mid. Yeah.
There was a lot of that. I think there were a lot of moments in my games, at least, where someone was like, "Oh, well, I really want to do that." And I was like, "I think you did do it actually. Like, crazy enough, you did roll exactly what you needed to accomplish the thing you wanted to do." Because I mean, everyone's there for fun.
narrative.
And
it's
it's
true.
narrative.
When
100%.
I played Chicago Work, he was like, "Do you want me to play the Stampa?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
He asked
"Do
the
you want to
same
play
thing.
the Stampa?" And he was like, "Yeah, but some people don't like." I was
Yeah.
like, "Put it on the table, dude. Like,
Yeah.
play the Stampa." And then like his objective for the game was like light the beacon, and he was like, "My objective is you have to blow up my Stampa and I get points." And I was like, I'll fucking dump everything into a Stampa. I don't care. Like, let's do that.
100%. That was like my whole round one was into his Stompa.
Oh, yeah.
And I got it down to 1 health and I could not kill it. And so I was like, all right, round 2, let's go. And then it didn't explode, which was disappointing.
It didn't explode for mine either, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I wanted to blow up.
1 in 6 chance to blow up. It's
Dude.
rough.
Yeah.
Day 2 is when my dice start playing games with my opponent. Okay, so every time when I go in, I'm like, look, great and clean one. This is bait. It's designed to take wounds. Like, please don't attack it. Kill the killy stuff. They're like, oh, cool. But then, they're like, yeah, we'll see. We'll shoot him. We'll see. And I fail my 4-up saves, my 4-up invuln, and he's like at 5. They're like, oh, this thing is not tanky at all. And then suddenly, my dice is like, all right, I'm gonna start rolling average. And now you're like, okay, he saves half. And then he takes half of the damage, and then at the end he heals 2, he heals 3, and then they're just like, it's turn 3. Why is he at 10 health? He was at 5.
The biggest mechanic he does not need.
Here's the thing about 10th, and 2 things about the narrative is like a lot of people, it was their first game of 10th or the second game of 10th coming into the narrative. That's cool, right? Life, like you don't play a lot of games.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people come from 9th or earlier editions where the game was just so much more lethal. Like if something stepped out, you get shot off the board.
Yeah.
I had that. I had like somebody with lightning claws, like a block of, I think it was some sort of Terminator or something like that. Like 4 or 5, it was 5 attacks. They charged 10 5-attack models. Lightning claws have like maybe it was 6 attacks. Either way, big number.
Well, it doesn't matter,
With
right?
twin linked, they charged into my tanks, and when you're wounding on 6s.
Oh yeah.
Even if you get
yeah.
everything
AP0,
through and you're
yeah.
wounding on 6s and you still have your saves, it's like,
Yeah.
and you heal too, right? Because you have like the tech guy.
So I did have my tech marine there
Yeah.
behind him healing the tank that he was wailing into, and I was just healing D3 wounds at a time.
Yeah, like, it's just
so
not happening.
I was
Stupid.
losing like 1 or 2 wounds a turn on a 16 wound model.
Like, yeah.
And so yeah, I think
Just imagine that, and then you have a 4-up feel no pain.
Yeah.
That's
so like don't charge small arms fire into tanks. It does unless you got nothing better to do.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, day 2 was fun. Like, I think like we all, like it was fun. The one thing about day 2, another thing where I think like I said, it started to fall apart is we ended up playing people that we played in the first day again in the second day.
We matched with the same
Yeah,
battle
but we ended up
group.
like swapping around, so it's
we
the
did
same difference,
swap around.
I feel.
We did swap around,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we were like we followed. I think we played this group like 3 times actually.
I think
throughout the
2. I
entire
think
day.
2.
Yeah.
It was 2.
It was 2.
It-
So I
it was
thought
2.
the first and then the second game they were the same ones.
No,
No.
Our second game of day 2 and first game
for
of day
me,
3.
it's technically 3
1 and 2.
because I didn't have a first opponent on day 1,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
had to play versus
Okay.
their group. But I think for you guys, it
Okay.
should be 2.
Yeah.
'cause, yeah.
Then we played them. We played them twice. You didn't have an opponent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like all in all, it was good.
So now we're going into day 3.
Day 3.
We actually utilized the card system a little bit on day 3 because
Yeah.
me and Tim, we swapped. I became
Yeah.
God Emperor for a day.
Well, Tim didn't give him a card. It
Yeah.
seems to be shit.
It was my fate to pull the card, so I'm gonna keep the card.
Piece of shit.
I was intern God Emperor. Okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like-
I went and bought a chair deck just to fuck you. Fuck you. I've got it. I'm all of them now. I got all the rings of power, bitch.
walking around. Lexi's like, "What are you doing?" I'm God Emperor.
Sit down.
But yeah, we did a little swapping.
We did, yeah. I think first game it was a guard army, and I was like, it was all tanks, and I
Yeah.
said, "There's no way I'm putting my Votan against that." So I found Peter, and I was like, "Dude, you got to take these demons
like-
over there. There's no chance."
Calling
that-
you a friend, you know?
I need you, please.
Belcore here.
your friendly chaos army here to help.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we definitely did some swapping.
Yeah, so he definitely got some EXP, and I decided to use my point as well. So at this point, I have Bellicor, I have a Lord of Chain. and then he got his like anti like cracked up monster tank built up already. So it was a close game, man. It was really fun. A lot of whiffing from my bloodthirster. He actually died to like a random like tank, not even like the big one. He just like he couldn't make any of his save. You know, the story of 4-ups, and he's just like, oops, I died. But everybody else was just like, all right, listen, this is how.
What about your second game?
Second game, I think this was the only game that I feel like there was like an outside like there was a third party affecting your game. Like there was like a little nuke that went down.
Yeah.
So first Space Marine of the whole event, which is kind of crazy. He was playing Blood Angels and he got everybody out and he's like, I'm gonna charge a demon. Let's go. And then he got done charging and the guy came just like, drop the thing. Right here. Everything here. D6 mortal wounds. And then his face is like, oh God. And he was rolling pretty good. So then he's like, 5 mortal wounds. 6 mortal wounds. 5 mortal wounds.
Jesus.
And then I blew up his tank and then his D6 and he's like 5 mortal wounds, 6 mortal wounds. And at that point we were just like, yeah, so like my demons just kind of shrugged and laughed and left because like there's nothing left for them to kill anymore. He did his like their finest hour or whatever. So he popped all of his cooldown, swung into my demons, and I'm not even shitting you. He rolled like 7 ones.
Oh God, no!
And he's like,
Oh, that
listen,
hurts.
so like I'm trying to get my thing. I'm like,
Sorry.
But like I think I just high rolled on my opponents, man. Everybody was like super friendly, very fun. Like especially since like I would say my list was definitely more like powerful and lethal than what like an average list is. But I guess it's like the combination of 1 not being Space Marine and then 2 just having a bunch of big monster running around. People was like, oh, this is like, it looks cool in like the narrative head. So like everybody was like super happy, super chill about it. So like I think you guys maybe have gotten like 1 or 2, but for me, everybody was great.
So my day 3, like the only game that was not fun.
Yep.
And it's not my opponent's fault. Like he didn't really want to talk to me, but like his third day, like he was just a quiet guy. He's a quiet guy. But like he brought Chaos Knights, or he brought Knights.
Knights, okay.
And like I show up to the table.
Pick your words carefully.
I show up to the table. I show up to the table, and he's like, "I have Knights." I'm like, "Oh, I have sisters," and he's like, "Cool." And I'm like, "I lost." Like before I even pull my army out, I'm like, I lost." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Dude, like, I have AP 1 across the board."
I think you need to tell the people at home that at this point he has like the relic that improves the save by 1. Yeah.
So like I show up, and again, like all of my guys are just not leveled up. Again, I fucked up the first day, and then I just have a lot, so I can't really control what's killing what.
Yeah.
But like I'm like, okay, I lose, and the guy's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Dude, I have 2 castigators with -1 rend, and then I have an exorcist that's indirect that like at best I'm gonna hit on 3s, but it's only -2 rend, and then I had like 2 little armature knights that are -4, but it's a 24-inch range.
They're 12 strength, so it would be on 4s anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like, no,
right?
Because most of his knights were
T13.
I was doing 5s, and yeah.
Oh,
like,
okay.
So like I started pulling all my stuff out, and again, like I have no anti-tank that's not Meltas. That's not 12-inch Meltas in my sister's units. My 2 Arrangers that are 24-inch, and then my tanks that are -1 AP.
Meltas are 18 inches now.
No, not so. The sister's hand ones. The sister's like walking is 12,
Meltas.
and then
Okay.
on the Armagers it's 24.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so we're doing long board edge, and so he deploys, I deploy, and then he starts going over all his stuff, and all of his guys are at the max XP that you can have. All of his knights.
50? Oh,
All of his knights are at the max.
That's hilarious.
They and like so. I again am nothing compared to this dude. I think I ended up getting like 5, the most you could get of like the crusade things that don't do anything really. And so like his big heavy gun 550 point knight is +1 to hit, +1 armor, and has the shroud where he's invisible.
So at this point, like when you hit like the heroic relic,
Yeah.
that's when you're starting to like do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like he's literally invisible to me. and again, which is cool, but we're long table edges, and all his weapons can pretty much shoot into my opponent's
I mean, it's
zone.
not shooting. Like, it's going to be like 72 or like 48 or
It's
something.
yeah. And so then he has his Warlord, which is a Lancer, which again +1 save, like
Free
plus-
battle shock, free tank
battle
shock?
shot,
Yeah.
plus strength on his weapons, plus to hit, like just an absurd amount of leveled up stuff. And so like turn 1 happens, I get the first turn, I move up like 6 inches, thinking, okay, you know, it's a 13-inch deployment zone, I'm up 6, like there's no way his knights are gonna get to me. No, turn 1 I take 2 charges. Like, and then it's just like boom, boom, gone. My Harbingers are gone. Like, in turn 1 from just shooting, my tanks are all low except for the 2 I had hidden. And then, like, it just didn't feel fun. Like, and that's the only thing I can say with that game where it wasn't fun. And I wish in this aspect, Crusade, it was different for accumulating points for knights, demons, and big monster stuff. Or listed or just
I
big
think you're saying
monsters.
like the big guys, when they benefit, it's like they benefit way more than foot soldier.
They do,
Which is how like,
right? Because like again across the board, like I think I had like 4 or 5 units that were leveled up, and all they had was reroll like 1, reroll 1 when they're hitting, and so it's like compared to
like Hero Hammer just like gets
compared to knights where everything is a hero, and so that means everything can take an artifact. Like that is not fun. It wasn't fun. I got murdered that game, and again, it wasn't my opponent's fault. Like he just brought knights, but at the same time, like if you're gonna go to the narrative, you need to understand there's gonna be knights, and if you're gonna bring an army that struggles with anti-tank, you're probably gonna get paired up against a knight, and it's not gonna be fun. And like that's all I can say is that was my only game where it literally, genuinely did not feel like I was having fun. But the second game, I had a shitload of fun. But the problem was we get paired up with our 11 people against a group of 5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Because that group was wasted. And like
No. I think they just had 5.
no. I mean like we get paired up with them. They did only have 5, but they were all wasted. Like they were all wasted. And
At the end of day 3?
at the end of day 3.
Okay.
Like-
My partner wasn't wasting. My partner was really cool, but
Did you play in the other room? Because they split our group and moved us.
I did play in the other
my
room.
guy was fine.
Okay, I don't know. There was the one leader.
This is one drunk guy.
No.
You fuck.
Again, there was one leader, and then the other 4 were wasted, like absolutely wasted, because the TO comes in and we're like standing there again, waiting to play, and the guy's like, "Oh, we only have 5 people in our group," and it's like, "Cool." And then the guy who's like telling this is just like slurring, like, and he's like, I'll play two. Like, I brought 3,000 points. I'll play 2. And like, I went to the TO and I was like, dude, I'll sit out. I don't want to play 3,000 points where I'm bringing 1,500 points of sisters, which is like paper, because sisters, sisters have to be at 2,000 points. If you bring anything less or over, it starts to get weird. But like, if I bring 1,500 points of sisters, it's like, okay, just walk through my side of the board because I'm not there. And so like, it ended up being the TO came in and was like, well, you two can just play each other. And I ended up playing a guy from our group it was a fun game. Like at one point, I blew up his dreadnought. His dreadnought blew up my knight. My knight blew up, and then blew up his other dreadnought.
So you had like 4 chain reactions?
It was so funny. And then like I said, the guy comes in with drops like the nuke. He hit my guy in the head, knocks him over, and was like, sorry. I was like, it's okay. And then he went on his nuke shit.
Yeah.
But like, it was a fun game.
Okay. Your stuff, Seth?
Oh, all I
Yeah.
was gonna say is like day 3 when people started dropping out, and then like again, like if you're gonna go and spend this much money, you need to understand other people are spending a lot of money, and like I can't imagine like me being struggling to pay for this tournament, and then like I show up and someone's like wasted, or someone doesn't come to their game because they're hungover, and like at a certain point you have to understand like we are a community, and don't be that guy that ruins someone else's experience or becomes a story of why someone shouldn't come to this. Because it was a fun event. Overall, like I had a blast, like meeting all these people, playing all the games. Like even the one I got trashed on, like it was still better than like going to work, or it was better than like sitting at home alone, like rolling dice.
Crying,
No, like
painting.
you know what I mean. Like it's like
Are
a
you
fucking
okay, Seth?
you know, a bad day at golf
Do you
is
wanna
better than a
talk,
good day at
man?
work. You know what I mean?
No.
But so like that's it. Is like it was fun. It's just like it's just a shame that like some of the people that were not as like passionate about going there, I guess.
Yeah.
Would be like my thing.
And unfortunately, it's such a big event, it can happen.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But I mean, like you two, who wants to go?
Yeah, I'll talk about mine.
for it.
Yeah, either way, day 3, I had the best game of the event. Awesome Sisters player that I met up to. Super nice guy. I wasn't playing with the drunks.
So you didn't play me.
I was waiting for my game. Didn't happen, so I went to the other group in the same room. And we were like in the so I didn't play on the super cool pyramid place, which was in that
everyone
room.
was trying to trade for that, and they're like, no.
Yeah. So I went off and played on Octarius train set ×4, which is whatever.
Okay.
You know.
That was my table too.
Yeah. A lot of that room is Octarius ×4, which is fine. It works. But yeah, our mission, it was some like the attacker needs to go plant the bomb and then blows up at the end of the game. You score points if you planted the bomb.
Yeah.
And then you guys talked about the missile drop. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool.
The characters walked around and like foreshadowed it's coming, and then it did. And I was like, I wish they did that more throughout the campaign.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because that kind of like unexpected interactivity was like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of hard. They would have to have like maybe like 2x the staff because there was like a lot of rooms.
Yeah, well, no, I
Yeah.
mean, like, it was just not our TO, but like every room has like a guy managing it, right?
Yeah.
And he's the guy that does the bomb.
No, those were the cosplayer. Those were like the main faction
Oh,
leader
okay, so
that was doing like because like the Zinj lady was doing the warning and then
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So she went to every room.
yeah.
And
So
then,
there
like,
was only like realistically 4 people, or 3 people
Three.
that was doing the thing.
Because it was the
Yeah.
the dude, the Zinch lady, and then the chaos guy.
Yeah. So like if they have 6 people, I can see them doing that like more often. But I can see where like
I don't think
yeah.
they need to do like it was super cool that the main characters did the foreshadowing, but I don't think it's super necessary if they could find another way to do it, because it's just not the TO, but the guy running your room just does something unexpected.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. A+. Or some sort of like unexpected activity. But yeah. Yeah. Or like if a
just
piece
break
of
my
train
shit.
blows up or whatever, like yeah. Or like maybe there's like a bomb in the middle of the field and
Or
like
just throw like
as
a
I was
little
saying.
special objective where you're on it, you flip it, and then there's like you can get
Oh, yeah.
bonuses
That's
or
what I'm
something.
saying. It's like
yeah.
not drop a dice, because like again my model got hit, and like if I painted it like, and if I was like I spent fucking blah blah blah, I'd be a little upset, but like I popped it out in like 2 days before the fucking event.
Yeah.
But like so like there's a terrain piece on the board that only the TO knows about, where it's like everything within 12 take D6 more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or something positive would be really cool too. Like
Yeah.
I'm saying just like a
suddenly,
little like a loot, like literally just put a card in there, and
Yeah.
once you can get to it, then
You can
a
loot
thing
it.
happens.
You win.
Yeah.
You
No,
win. You win the 40K.
you become the real Warhammer 40K. Yeah. Either way, that was an awesome game. Really good player. He played Sisters, and like that was my only game of the event that wasn't run it down mid. I unfortunately like run it down mid those are the least fun games that I ever play.
Yeah.
For Kill Team and for Big 40K. Because if you can actually like hide your models, avoid getting shot, like basically in Turning Point 1 of Kill Team or like in Turn 1 of Warhammer 40K, if like there was minimal shooting, I'm like, we're about to have a good game.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just like a litmus test
Yeah.
of it. And that was the one game where that happened, where like my opponent held back, played smart, and didn't just monkey man forward. And that's
Charge.
a percentage, but like sitting at a hard 10 where most groups probably had at least one person drop.
Yeah.
We probably did have a numbers advantage, and also we played well.
So Tim, last but not least, how was your game?
So my last 2 games,
We did the swap.
obviously,
Yeah,
we did the swap. But funny enough, because we did that swap, I went to a table and I sat there for probably like 10 minutes. No one showed up. Then the room organizer called anyone that didn't have an opponent up, because day 3, it was a lot of missing players.
Yeah.
And basically we paired off from there. And then I was like, okay, I talked to the guy I was paired with. I was like, you want to come to my table? He's like, yeah, sure. Walked over there. 10 minutes go by. He never shows up. And so I like go to talk to the room organizer. I notice the guy. He's actually at his table playing with someone else. I'm like, all right, must have been a late player. So then I get paired up with an orc guy. I'm like, all right, 3 orc players in a weekend. All right, whatever. And then one of our battle group guys is also looking for an opponent. And I didn't want to play just orcs, so the room organizer's like, "Hey, who will take on another opponent?" I was like, "I will." Come to find out, he's in our battle group. So, we tell the orc guy, "Well, like, hey, we can both play 1500. You have 3K." And the orc guy basically tells us, "He's like, look, dude, I'm a ringer for the event. I'm just here to fill tables if we need them. He's like, if you two just want to play each other, like, you can just do that, and then I can go help with another room. So we did that. We both won the game, and we had a ton of fun. Actually, you played him. It's a guy that we both know.
Oh, yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I played as Frost Wolves.
Frost Wolves?
Yeah.
Space Wolves.
Space Wolves. Yeah,
Space
sorry.
Wolves.
I played as
Full
Space
Moon.
Wolves. Yeah, Blood Knights and Frost Wolves.
Well, then they're called what? Paw Patrol, right? That's what everybody calls them.
Yeah, Paw Patrol. Well, that's what it felt
Patrol.
like fighting him was Paw Patrol because man, they just got obliterated.
Dude, same. It was same.
Yeah, I was like, man, this feels bad, buddy. He's like, no, I'm still having fun. So we both won, and
That's
then last game. Again, a lot of missing people, but we did have a call in our room for anyone that wasn't Imperium, playing Imperium specifically,
Yeah.
that had a Xenos or Chaos Army. Would they be willing to play somebody that's played Imperium all weekend?
No, played Space Marines
Or yeah,
all
played
weekend.
Space Marines all
Yeah.
weekend. And so I volunteered for that because I didn't want to fight Knights.
Good.
Yeah, and so I volunteered for that. So I ended up playing some guard, not a busted list. It was pretty standard, and super chill game, super fun, and yeah, it was a great
All right.
great end to the event.
Great
So,
way to end it. So this is the take. Well, so now the event is done. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the award ceremony.
No,
Correct?
let's go pros and cons first.
Wait. Really? No,
Let's do
we
pros and
talk
cons
about the
first.
award because this is like a flow.
Yeah, let's
Then
do the
then
flow.
there's
Let's
a-
do the-
yeah. Okay. So then we. Thanks, Seth. All right, so
Sorry,
the
I
event
interrupted your
ended.
two words.
So we have the award ceremony. What do we get?
We got
And Reagan is the only one who has the award today.
I won Company of Heroes. Everybody else helped. But we have a picture. We have the picture. We'll throw up the picture.
we'll throw it up.
But this was for being the most, it was, in quotes, most effective battle group.
Yes.
Yeah,
we were the sweatiest
What
team.
this probably translated to was you either won the most games or completed the most objectives as a whole. And so
I think it was most objective as a whole because I only won 2 games out of 6.
So I mean, it was a group effort,
we helped
team effort.
you up.
Yeah.
But like realistically, you have to assume there's other people in the group that are doing about what I'm doing.
More
So
or less.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then but unfortunately, our faction didn't win. So like our team,
Yeah.
we did the best like team, but our faction as a whole didn't win. I
Yes.
think it was
Yeah.
the Path of
Chaos one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Path of
They
Annihilation.
got their name
yeah.
changed. So like it was Path of Resistance, but then they were like Path of Fate or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's
Well, because
because
it's themed.
she turns into a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're-
Which was a cool cosplay.
she was
Yeah,
like
that was very cool.
her cosplay changed. All the cosplayers actually. I don't know if we
Yeah.
talked about that. All the cosplayers had like evolving costumes throughout the day.
Yeah. I got pictures. We'll put them up.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about our story because let's talk about our narrative story because we had like the deal was we had some Inquisitor man who was like, "Yo, come to this planet. The entity, the command entity. We gotta listen to it because it's our best friend." And then I think
wasn't.
like day 2, the guy, the Inquisitor, was like, my brain. And the command entity was like, plot twist, we're bad guys, or I'm the bad guy. And then I think one of the other factions became best friends with the command entity.
It was so the command entity turned out to be the Iron Men. So they're like sentient computers.
Oh yeah, it was a rogue AI.
Yeah. And so, well, like it's, I wouldn't call them rogue because they're literally, that's just them. Like
Okay.
that's what they do. And so like he was whispering in our dude falls, gets at the end of it all.
Yeah.
We
and
actually
then-
got to decide that.
Yeah,
So-
we did.
So every faction, every faction
Oh, is that what the
had
thing was? The vote
like
thing?
1 or 2 decisions that they can make.
Yeah.
And these were determined in various ways. I think for our faction, Tim, you got selected
Yeah,
to go
actually, yeah.
vote for like what our path is going to do.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. So we all got to. At one point, they asked for someone from each battle group to like go and represent the group. And
God Emperor, of course.
yeah, God Emperor, obviously
Chosen one.
So I went up there and
Shut up, tree in the background. Don't shake your fucking head.
I have all the cards. I am the true Yu-Gi-Oh master.
So the Votan player.
Prop.
Yeah,
Fucking
so-
Votan
so
player
much
spoke for the
attitude.
Imperium
Yeah,
team.
so the Votan player spoke for this ragtag group of randos that all banded together, and they asked essentially the question was, would your battle group continue to follow the Inquisitor And I was like, yeah, there is no chance in hell that any of our group would follow them. We had demons, we had Votan, we had sisters with a leader that was like excommunicated.
He wasn't an inquisitor, right? Like he was.
No,
was
he was something else.
He,
but-
I don't think he was an inquisitor.
Well, either way,
looks
the
like an
leader,
inquisitor.
Yeah.
of the path of enlightenment, would we follow him or not? And I said no. Another group said no, and
That's all they care about.
It wasn't would we follow him? It was are you going to stay faithful to the emperor, or will you stay faithful to him?
It was would you follow him?
Yes,
And,
but the
yeah,
larger context is do you stay faithful to the emperor, or do you follow this guy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Which you did choose right, because we had a
yeah.
Space Wolves player, and then me again, Ecclesiastes, and then like the most fucking hardline, we're fucking shooting the emperor in our veins chapter. So, like, yeah, it was a good choice. And then he walks up like nonchalantly, like, yeah, we're not gonna follow him. I'm like, when the fuck did this happen? When the fuck did we guys do
about anything.
Dude just walks up like nonchalant, like, hey, I don't think we're following him anymore. And we're like,
So either way, the story on day 3, after him being corrupted by the command entity, he walks in shackles with the other characters, like the female guardsman and the some other dude, the archaeotheologist,
the priesthood,
the archaeotheologist. And then basically it was like yo, and then it was Deagle to the head. And that was cool because like they had a award
blood
ceremony
splatter.
screen, and it just like next slide, and it was like boom.
blood splatter.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because
That
like
was-
you
that was
couldn't
really cool.
see everything, but
Yeah.
bam, you
Yeah.
saw that blood
Yeah.
splatter.
Yeah. It was cool.
But yeah,
anyways,
overall, what is your takeaway? Like, what did you think? What was the good, the highs and the lows? What do you guys think about the whole event?
You guys want to say like one high, one low? Just go down the line.
that's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start. I mean, I love the storytelling. It was so cool to just go beyond like your normal game and see characters walking around, interacting with you. They would come up to your table and start talking to you and be like, "How you doing?" Or if there was a chaos guy, he'd be like,
Scum.
skulls. So I mean, some of it was more interactive than others. Sometimes it was a little awkward because it was like you are deep into your game, you're trying to get it done on time, you're rolling dice, you're making decisions, and here's this guy trying to have a conversation with you, and it's not like a bad thing. I described it as a neutral thing, but it was a thing. But my negative thing I think we wanted to talk about was the battle scars. So for those familiar with Crusade, when your unit dies, you get a battle scar, right? You roll d6 on a 1, you get a battle scar. And this really sucks for like horde teams that die a lot more, or if you just are the loser and you got tabled, you're gonna get some battle
Or
scars.
you play versus vehicles that has the battle scar now rolls on a 4-up.
Oh yeah. So the
Yeah.
striding
Oh, yeah.
behemoths, you have a
It's literally the first thing you have to take.
You have a talent tree.
You have to take
in the Tyrannic War, and you could your only option is force battle scars on 4-ups, which is so mean.
Yeah, it's so fucked up.
And so it's really a kick you while you're down mechanic. And so basically. So honestly, in my kill team narrative games, in my narrative games as a whole, I just say get rid of battle scars because it's an unfun mechanic, and even though it's narratively really cool, I don't think it supports the fun of the game.
So I think you're right with the battle scars. It punishes certain teams, but my negative was there needs to be a better way to accommodate for when players drop out, because players are gonna drop out.
Yep.
And so there needs to be a better or a set up thing that is like, if you don't have a player in 10 minutes, go to this person and they will match you with just someone. Because you know, like standing there is not fun, and everyone else having fun, you're just like, this is bullshit. And then like the day 3, they kind of like took initiative and were like, we need to fucking do something about this. And so they were starting to grab people out of rooms. But again, like I think streamline it, do it like if they're not there in 15 minutes, go to this person. They will put you in a room with a team, or they'll put you in a room with a game. It might be someone in your same faction, but you still get to play the game.
Yeah.
A pro was really cool traveling out there and like getting to hang out with all y'all and like playing games.
Wow, thanks.
You know,
I mean, I try.
No, doing it with friends,
Yeah.
awesome experience.
and it was real fun when Pete
If you
was
have
just
friends.
talking shit the entire weekend about how I wasn't going to win an award, and then I won one, so he can go fuck himself.
Wait, you won an award?
We won an award, but
correct.
he did not specify. He did not specify. He just said you're not going to win an award, and then I got one, and so he can go and fall off a cliff.
All right, Tim, what about you, man?
I mean, I'll start with the negative so we can end on the positive. But for me, I think it was it kind of stunk going last year and being able to play narrative rules for every single army, but this year was only Space Marines and NIDS that had that.
Oh, with the release
And we-
Cosies?
and
Yep.
we couldn't dip into the 9th edition narrative rules at all, which was a little disappointing because as a Votan player, I'm not expecting a new codex for a while.
Yeah, but 9th to 10th is such a dramatic change that there's no way they could do that.
Yeah. And it was like, well, fair enough, but it still kind of stunk. So I'm hoping next year at least we have a little something to work with,
Next
but
week you
probably
have a
not.
codex.
Probably not. But on a positive, the immersion this year was so well done. I mean, the tables were a complete, upgrade compared to last year's narrative. The cosplayers and the teams like working the rooms were really into it this year. They were into it last year, but this year they really just stepped it up again. I really think that the team running the narratives are really passionate about this now, and I think after the first one they realized people do love this and they want to build on it, and so they really stepped it up for this year. So I think next year it's going to be wild.
I think it's only gonna get better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Except the glitter. Screw the glitter.
Oh yeah, that
rid of
was
glitter.
in my survey.
buy a better
I
speaker.
said get rid of the glitter, please, and get an extra speaker so we can hear you.
Just one extra
One
speaker.
extra speaker.
Fine. What about you,
Fine.
Peter? Okay. For me.
What about you?
Hey, that wraps it up. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm actually just gonna cut it here.
I'm actually getting hangry again.
So Peter, what about you, man?
Negative is, as someone who has never played narrative before, I wish it was the more structure. Like, okay, this is how it works. Like, we're using this, we're using this, we're using this. So it's just easier for me to follow along.
Objectively say which resources you're using.
It's just a more structure, because like they did send us a lot of stuff, but they were just fluffy stuff. I would just like fluffy stuff, and then just be like, this is how it's gonna go on day one.
Yeah.
And then I think that would make the narrative perfect for me. And then the pros are just probably, dude, I think I high rolled on all my opponents. Like, they are like 95% up. Like, great people, good sports. So yeah, I mean, get fucked, I guess, guys.
Wait, we didn't talk about
I
Kill
enjoyed
Team.
all of my guys. So.
Oh yeah. Also, we met some of you guys. They've been watching our channel, Kill Team stuff, and apparently people that watch podcasts too, which is kind of crazy.
I was talking to a lot of the Kill Team players, and I actually played Kill Team for the Kill Team narrative. The short of it is, Kill Team room, there's not a lot of Kill Team players in the narrative, so we kind of skipped that. If you did play it, you would have gotten 2 experience points and a requisition point.
Yeah.
Or I think it was 2 experience points, and if you lost, you got 1 experience point.
Yeah, like I was on 4 hours, and Riggin was just like being a champ, and he actually can play it through. Like, my voice was gone because I fucking yelled for fucking 8 hours straight. So I was like,
Sorry,
I need to
guys,
save.
if you heard Pete talking.
Day 1 is actually silly. I literally ended up teaching people how to play Kill Team on
Nice.
day 1. On day 2, I didn't get a game because it was mostly boarding actions. So I went over to the World Tournament, which was happening in the same building, and met up with some of the Kill Team players over there, and was playing with one of the
the good people.
the World Tournament players. I had one of the best games ever. Super awesome. He was.
It wasn't beating me.
I was playing Legionary. He was playing the Felgar Ravagers. And it was an awesome game. It was really close. It was down to like a couple of points.
Nice.
That's cool.
But anyways, we're running out of battery, and we will see you guys on the next videos.
Yeah, but if any of you losers want to come and try to beat us next year,
Big doubt.
let's do it. Fucking come on
Hold
down.
up a little bit. It might not be in frame. There we go.
Come on down. Best team, motherfuckers. What up?
We're gonna put the thing there. The next
The
video.
next video.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it all framed, put it behind us. You can stare at it for a year. No, that you.
Photoshop you as a tree.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, fuck you.
no,
No, that none of you can take this from me.
I'm gonna give Joey's hair.
But
Can you put a crown on?
Oh yeah. No, I'll make you Yugi, and I'll make you
actually, one thing. Ironically, last year in the narrative, the team we were on was the worst fucking team, and now we're the
Yes.
best team. So
Yeah, I just want you to know, people, we have tried to send off like 3 times already, so I'm surprised if anyone's still watching. But
go Warhammer.
We'll see you guys later.
can't wait to beat you.
All right, that's it.